So, Mark, did you see this video that describes the journey of a Miles and Points person getting lounge access? You're so excited. Then you travel. Some of these lounges are just, underwhelming. And the food, the ham and cheese, I could relate to that.
No, it's funny. Like you see hard-boiled eggs, like the cheapest of cheap stuff. Half the stuff's broken. The bathrooms are sometimes gross. I mean, this is usually like a low-end airline lounge that you see this versus like a Capital One or a Amex Centurion lounge. But we all felt that pain going into some like no-name airline lounge or priority pass thing and being like, what is this crap? I wouldn't even serve this to my kids at home.
Yeah, some of those priority pass lounges internationally are quite an adventure. And it makes you wonder, is it really better than just sitting in the terminal?
Not for $800.
So Spirit has been in the news a lot this year, and for a lot of the wrong reasons. Their bankruptcy is happening. That is something that we are going to be going through. Frontier a couple years ago tried to buy Spirit, and Spirit rejected them, and now they're trying to buy them again at a lower price. I think a couple years ago they offered $2.9 billion. Now they offered $2.1 billion, and Spirit's saying, no, like this is not enough money. This isn't going to help us, and we're going to continue to be bankrupt.
I mean, I can't blame them for dropping the price a bit because they are going through bankruptcy. So it's not like things have gotten better since the last bid, probably gotten worse. I do think it makes sense. They're both kind of struggling. So I do think it makes somewhat sense of them to merge together, maybe cut some of the overhead costs and all of those things. But JetBlue didn't go through because they wanted to raise the rates, and the government was like, you know what, this is a low cost carrier. We don't want to take that out of the market. If they merged together, that would probably make more sense that they stay a low cost carrier. So I think it might get approval. It's just a question of, does it make sense for Spirit to do it, or are they better off going through bankruptcy?
And there's a lot of changeover in the government now. So what might not have been approved before might be approved. So I wonder if we'll see a whole new round of airline merger attempts, given the new sort of government direction that we're seeing, which is less oversight, stuff like that. So that's a possibility. But yeah, Spirit, they want to go bankrupt. Let them go bankrupt.
Hey, if it saves them some money, they restructure some things. I mean, other low-cost carriers have shown that you can be profitable. I don't know where the holdup is with them or what issues they have, but maybe this will help them work through those.
One of the crazier things we've watched over the last decade is Hyatt turn into an all-inclusive company. It started with a small investment in Playa Resorts that kind of birthed the Ziva and Zilara brands about a decade ago, and then they've just been on a buying spree ever since then. I mean, it's been sort of insane to watch. Well, they just made a huge acquisition, and they just bought Playa Resorts and Hotels, that same company that they started this whole thing with. And Playa owns many Hyatt all-inclusives like the Ziva and Rose Hall and many others, but they also own Wyndham and Hilton all-inclusives. I guess they're all going to become Hyatt now.
Yeah, and the sad thing is we've seen Hyatt over the last probably 2 years completely destroy the award chart for all-inclusives. As they expanded, they doubled the prices at a lot of the places people love, like the Zivas, Zilaras, the Secrets, all that stuff. Like, you know, the prices have gotten to the point that it doesn't even make sense really to book stays there, at least not for me, especially when it only includes 2 people. So I think this is almost a little bit of a negative because you are losing the Hiltons, you're losing the Wyndhams, which are probably lower, you know, when you average out the value of the points, probably a lower cost now than they will be with Hyatt. But some of those properties need a big overhaul and a lot of investment in making it a better place. So maybe you'll get that before they come back online and they'll look a bit nicer and it'll be worth the increase in price. But I just don't find the value in all-inclusives anymore.
Another interesting aspect of this is Hyatt is very asset light. That's what they've talked about. They've sold off so many properties over the years. They're really a management company. So with this deal, they will take on some debt, but they will own these hotels. And they say their goal is to sell them. So to continue with their asset light, be a management company. So we may see the owner of these hotels sort of switch over, you know, on the backside. And in your article, people should read, you did some math on what potentially with one of the Hilton properties, what the math will look like. And as you said, it's just not going to be good probably.
Yeah, and the nice thing with Hilton is their free night certificates work for any time there's a standard room, no matter how expensive the place is. That comes in handy with all-inclusives. And when you have to add extra people to the room with Hyatt, it gets kind of expensive, where I think it's like 10,000 points a night for the Hilton side of things, which is much more manageable, much more understandable. Sometimes they even charge several $100s at Hyatt to add, extra people. It used to almost make more sense to just book 2 rooms. But, with the increases, not so much anymore.
So moving on to credit card news, American Express is sending out a whole new round of authorized user bonuses. These are amazing. Usually, for those who don't know, they say add an authorized user. They spend so much money, you get all these bonus points, and they're sending them out across a variety of cards. And you just got one on your business platinum, right?
Yeah, I did. And, these can be worth up to 100,000 points depending on which one you get targeted for. They're very useful. Like you said, it's like kind of like getting another welcome offer, a mini sign up bonus. I think the business card ones are a bit better because they won't hurt your 524 if you add an authorized user, won't hurt their 524. But if you add them to personal cards, it could play, problems with it, or they could see that when you go to apply for the next Chase card. So that's something to consider. But if it's on a card that you need to do a spending offer, or even if it's better, if it's on a card you just signed up for and have a welcome offer for, it's pretty great because that spend will count towards either the Hilton free night cert or, your sign up bonus, stuff like that. So it's always good to look out for these. You can find them in your Amex offers section. You get them by email, occasionally in the mail. It's just kind of random who gets them.
And some of these cards have authorized user annual fees, so keep in mind with that, but you can often get a lower tiered version of the card. For example, the platinum card would charge you for an authorized user, but you could get like the white version, the no annual fee version, and you can still get the bonus offer.
Yeah, and just so you know, if you sometimes it's like the gold card, you're not going to get the gold card spending, bonuses, like whatever that is. You get whatever the main card is. So no matter which authorized user card variety you get, it's going to line up to the spending bonus features of the original card.
So it's 1099 season, and it's difficult to get these things right, Mark. It's just very hard, but people might not be expecting they're getting 1099s from their banks, their credit card banks. If you do referrals, you will get a 1099 for this. But Chase screwed up a lot of different 1099s, and just looking at some of the data points that you posted from the top Facebook group, it seems like they messed up in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and these, they come to surprise the people that are just starting out in the hobby, and you don't get it for normal spend on the card. You don't get it for sign-up bonuses because that's a rebate on spend. A referral is not a rebate on spend. Bank bonuses that give you points is not a rebate on spend. So you will get 1099s for those. Some people got several $1,000s and they were pretty shocked by it. So just be aware that those are probably already in your mailbox. And some of the things we're seeing this go around, and Chase messed up last year, others messed up. They sent out corrected ones. You don't know that they're going to come in time for you to file your taxes and all of that. But we're seeing things like getting one for Chase offers that they earn cash back on, which is a rebate on spend. Shouldn't get it for that. Sometimes they're more than they did referrals for, so they're confused by that. Other times, I think the Amazon card, they got a $200 sign-up bonus. They got it for that. So it's just kind of like random, and we've seen this with other banks. You would think, this is nothing new. They've been doing it for like 4 or 5 years now. You think the system would be pretty foolproof now. Hey, if they get it from a referral, it clicks. It's this button, whatever, sends it out every year. It's something like this.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but this is why we have a community, right? To keep them honest and make sure you pay attention, track this stuff, because you can't trust that the bank is going to send you an accurate 1099 at the end of the year, and you don't want to pay for more than you got.
And they value all points at 1 cent. A Marriott Bonvoy point, an Ultimate Rewards point, and a Southwest point are exactly the same. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Sometimes it works in our favor because Ultimate Rewards are worth more than that, and other times it hurts us when Bonvoy points are probably worth like 0.7 of a cent.
So this next one's a little strange. British Airways had a 20% transfer bonus with Chase. I think it was supposed to go through March, and then it just suddenly ended, and a lot of people haven't gotten their bonus points. It's really weird because, British Airways is probably the OG of transfer bonuses, especially with Chase. We've seen bonuses as much as 50% going back as far as I can remember. So it's not like this is anything new. Why do you think that this got pulled early?
Yeah, this one was weird because it was coming from British Airways, and they usually don't do that. Like Life Miles does that a lot, where you transfer and then Life Miles adds on the bonus points. I'm sure British Airways has done it sometimes here and there, but they usually go through Chase's end, and the Ultimate Rewards page shows it. I wonder if they just did this a little early, or it's just like it was an error. Maybe it's coming out in March. They made it sound like it's coming on their end, so they pulled it, which I have no problem. If it's an error, pull it down. But you should put up there, hey, anybody that transferred by this time and this date will get the points. We're working on it. Something along those lines, instead of just like taking it away and hoping nobody notices. I don't know. It's really shady.
Yeah, and this isn't even that great of a bonus. So, we don't know what happened, but hopefully they'll make it right and they'll credit everybody as they're supposed to. And as a reminder, I don't think 20%, I wouldn't transfer it to Avios at a 20% bonus unless you have an immediate use just a reminder that you can generally do better. When was the last time we saw 50%? It's been a while, right?
The last time we saw 50% was from Built last year. So it's been like 20 to 30, I think 40% in the last couple of years. So it's been a bit since then. But like you said, I probably wouldn't transfer Ultimate Rewards to British Airways ever unless it was like a 50% bonus, because Hyatt is so much more valuable and all that. And you can transfer almost anything to British Airways. So, I'd be moving a less valuable currency there.
And now for some cool Whirlyball. This one looks like it's just made for me. I don't know. It's like bumper cars and Polo or something like that. They have locations around Chicago. It looks like most of their locations are there. Also in Colorado Springs. Yeah, but this looks like a ton of fun.
Yeah, it's been around in Detroit area forever. And I thought it was like a Detroit thing, kind of like Foaling. I think Foaling is in Indianapolis. Maybe we should do a cool S on that too soon. But yeah, I figured it was just like kind of in that area. And then when we were in Minneapolis a couple weeks ago, I saw a big Whirlyball set up there, and now I see it in Chicago. So it's like mostly Midwest, I think. But yeah, it's those scoop things, the like wiffle ball and the scoop things you play catch at the beach with. It's those. You drive around in bumper cars, and then there's like a circle in the wall, like halfway up the wall, that you're trying to shoot the ball into. So you pass it to each other, trying to shoot the ball into that hoop, score a basket or a goal, and you're getting rammed all the time. Like, you just go to throw, and as you're shooting, somebody just T-bones you, and the ball goes way off to the side. It's a lot of fun. They usually have like a bar area and everything. Great for like a group event or a party, birthday party, something along those lines. I was wondering if you had ever heard of it, because I don't think it's on the West Coast much at all, but it's pretty cool.
I think I had seen a video or two of this over time, but I really didn't know much about it and hadn't seen it anywhere here. Yeah, there's like the official Whirlyball. That's like in Illinois, but like you said, this is just probably elsewhere. And I want to play. I mean, it's got to be hard to coordinate the passing with the driving. And then what happens when the ball goes on the floor? Is there like a referee to pick it up?
No, you just scoop it up with your scoop, and you keep going. Just try not to get your hand caught in between two cars.
It's perfect. This should happen in Vegas. This is great. But it reminds me of like the old days of amusement parks where they used to have the bumper cars like turned all the way up. That's my favorite thing, just to ram in people. And if you had like old school bumper cars with this, maybe I would need a back adjustment afterwards, but I would have a ton of fun.
Yeah, you definitely feel it afterwards, but it would be perfect in Vegas. I mean, you have so many bachelorette parties and stuff going on there. I've always wanted to do like a meetup, a Miles and Points meetup with it, but the one here is 30, 45 minutes from downtown, so it isn't convenient to get people there. Otherwise, I definitely would do it.
So let us know what you guys think about anything we discussed today. Spirit turning down Frontier, Whirlyball, authorized user bonuses. Are you taking advantage of those? Chase's 1099s. Did you get one that's wrong? Leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week. We have our full podcast on Monday, right on this channel. And then Wednesdays, we have this new show. Make sure to subscribe, tell a friend, help us grow. We're almost at 5,000 subscribers. Thanks to everybody who listens and watches. Talk to you next time.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good week.